just a sick thing that we do to ourselves, this fandom. It really is. It really is. But on the other hand, is there anyone more romantic than a sports fan? That's why I don't understand sports fans that cheat. Like, seriously, man, you know what this is? It's like you can't be doing that. Like, if Billings was like to put on a Patrick Mahomes jersey, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Did it like a brain tumor get diagnosed? Like,
What
how
did I
did this
miss?
happen?
Why is Chris wearing a Patrick Mahomes jersey?
I
Said
was
he
just
can't
talking
cheat.
about.
Can't be a fan that cheats. You have
I
to
don't
you have
under.
to suffer
Yeah.
in the
Oh yeah,
darkness
of course.
if you're gonna take the
Yes.
good times as
Just
well.
telling you guys, this is the first time I've ever seen any real light. Any other light that I've seen has been fake.
Let me tell you about that fake light, Nick. I've been seeing a lot of it in my time as a Cowboys fan. A lot of fake light. A lot. A lot of goddamn amazing projections. Visually, like that Tupac hologram that we saw. That's a little bit more recent reference, Billions. I heard the John Kerry one was too old. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys to like the 2000s. That's what the Cowboys are. It's like a little hologram of like a good team. And it's like, as soon as you just are like that close to touch it, no,
Yeah.
disintegrates. Just facade, a facade, man. Fucking phony facade. God damn
So
it.
Tell us how you
Tony,
really feel,
tell
Tony.
us about the Cowboys.
What brought you out of your
Man,
darkness? Because you seem a lot better than you did yesterday.
it's like it's hilarious because they're such a popular team, so you're just like bombarded with opinions so much that they drown each other out. And so there probably is some truth to everyone's opinion, but most of it is just like, I want to be right and I want to be the first one that's diagnosed this super popular team. When it's like, what is the reality of this situation? I mean, it's not like there's a quick fix for this team. There's no like, I'm gonna be like, you know what, Billions, the Broncos trade Patrick Surtain to the Cowboys, they're not going to lose by 30 fucking points to the Niners? I don't think so. Like, there's no quick fix, so it doesn't matter what all these people say. And it's, I don't know, man. Some part of me that's like super biased in that blind spot wants to just throw this game out and be like, nothing else makes sense, man. There's just like,
Yeah.
nothing else makes sense. There's no way they should have lost this badly. And the other part of me is like, nah, man, that's reality. Like, you just got undressed, revealed, like on national TV, big game. And I'm like, man, you can't lose that way. Like Billing said, they were like, man, you guys are going to get spanked. And I was like, yeah, man, like 7 points. Okay. 10 points. I was like, okay, maybe it's like a 2-score game because it gets out of hand late and they're like
Yeah.
trying to make something happen. But it like, I don't know. I'm a biased fan, but I don't know if anyone believes that the Cowboys were going to win that game at any point in that game. But it just seemed like from the jump, it was just like, nope, no, no, it's over. We're way more ready for this game. We know what you're going to call. We know how to adjust to it. Doesn't matter what you're going to try. We've got you guys all figured out. We've got you guys locked down. Like I was sending you guys in that group chat, man. I was hoping, and like they kept like, yeah, man, the team just talked about losing this team in back-to-back years in the playoffs, trying to close that gap with them. And if anything, it's widened, and they've just figured out how to beat the Cowboys better than any team in the league. Like they
Well,
just like
I mean,
dismantle them.
the good thing for you, it is still early in the season. And if I would have rather the two, I'd rather lose now and then win in that NFC Championship game because they're gonna think they have you. It's about what
Yes,
you guys do over the next 12 weeks to try to
this
figure
is
out some of those offensive
exactly what I
problems.
told you last week. I said, yes, you were gonna get your ass kicked. I used those exact words, ass kicking. But I was like, don't hold it too closely to your emotions, and
Mhm.
that's what you're doing, Tony. You're not taking my own advice. Hold it like it's week 5. Like if you make it to NFC Championship, are you gonna care about what happened in this
Yeah.
game? I mean, you will if you're facing the Niners, but It won't matter.
Chances are you probably will, because you're gonna face the Eagles earlier in the playoffs. You'll have your chance at them, and then you get back to here. It's all about what you
I
do in that game.
I
At least
just
you
feel
guys are, at
like
least you guys have both seen your teams win a playoff game in the last 20 years.
I just feel like this loss like is so close to knocking that team off track because they made all these adjustments based off this loss, and it just looks like none of them worked. They all like backfired. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe it's early. But it just looked like the Niners are like on another level. Like, oh my
yeah.
God. My God. What the
Week
hell,
5.
man?
We're not even a third of the way through the season yet. Like
Mhm.
it sucks. I get it. No, it sucks, and you're hoping that it was going to be a benchmark of, yes, things have progressed and gotten better. Unfortunately, from your perspective, like, you see it as a regression, but it's any given Sunday. Like, Nick
Mhm.
lost to the Bills
Yeah, I
and
felt the
got his
same way the
ass
week
kicked.
before.
Yeah, but
Look, we won the
it's
next
not
week.
going to matter in January, basically.
Mhm.
Like, Nick put it pretty succinctly. Like, if you end up playing the Niners in the playoffs, everybody's going to bury the Cowboys.
Mhm.
No one's going to pick you. And you're going to go in with the underdog mentality rather than like, oh, Cowboys hype and Super Bowl aspirations. And like, that's the stuff that the Cowboys don't want. And that's the noise they don't need. They need to come into these playoffs as an underdog.
Yeah, I'd rather be the underdog. There's a lot more pressure on those teams that everyone's expecting to win.
Everybody expects it from the Eagles and Niners now.
Mhm.
Like that's the expectation today, is that it's going to be an Eagles Niners NFC championship, and anything that deviates from that is going to genuinely be a surprise to most of us.
So you guys still believe the Cowboys have a chance you in the NFC, that they're still a contender, and it
Yeah,
isn't just Eagles and
Yes,
Niners.
I've
of
seen way
course.
weirder things happen in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you look around the rest of the NFC, there really is no major teams aside from those three. I mean, yeah, Seattle's 3-1, but how confident are you in Geno Smith taking it a whole nother year and then
I
into the playoffs?
I look at it for both your teams of like, sure, yes, you have the Eagles and Niners in your way. Sure, you have Patrick Mahomes in your way.
Josh
But it's
Allen.
the end. Eh, eh,
He's
eh,
he's got the Dolphins number.
eh. But like
Th-
I'm just talking about the talent gaps in terms
Yeah.
of like, yes, like you look at those talent gaps, you're like, man, like that's a lot to overcome. But both of you are in a position that, like, yes, like on our best Sunday, we can do it. We can win and we can move forward. And that's what the Dolphins have right now. That's what the Cowboys have right now. Like, yes, it was an ass kicking, but I'm telling you, Tony, like you have a good enough team that you can compete in the playoffs, and that's really what matters.
I hope so, man. I hope so. We'll see. We'll see. I hope it didn't just like break that team, and we'll see what goes on and how they respond in their next games.
Yeah.
Now they've been tested and they know
Yeah.
what it takes to
Hmm.
be in that upper echelon of the NFC. And so,
And they got another shot this week, Monday
yeah,
night,
like, but
Ah,
against a team that most of us think are frauds, missing. I mean, I don't believe in the quarterback, but that's just me. But you guys think he should be under different coaching?
yeah,
Broadway.
but I like this is the true test for the Cowboys is how do they respond after that Niners beat down? And like not to give away my picks, like I think they're gonna come back and they're gonna kick the Chargers' ass this weekend. And
Maybe, man.
it's still gonna show like, okay, like yes, we have a good coach that like he's gotten to a Super Bowl. He knows what it takes. Like we have a QB that can compete with other what are deemed elite QBs. So you have a defense that, yes, like they kind of looked average and normal, but you have good defensive talent. Like all the pieces are there to get you to the promised land. And then the NFL, anything can happen.
Hmm.
I feel like that's part of the Cowboys' problem And it's like they have players that are talented on their team, but they just get overhyped. And so it's so much more difficult to evaluate them. And so it's like I don't know how good some of these players are because it's like you see them through a different lens as a fan, but at the same time, like the media is in lockstep with the team to promote these players. And so maybe they are like a little overhyped, and maybe it is just like a bunch of really good players on that team, and it isn't any elite players. And so that's I don't know. And so like that's when I get into these like Dak Prescott thought processes and what's going on with it and how they're going to respond, and are they going to move on? Are they going to give him an extension? And it's like it's the same thing. Like I sent that picture to you guys of 10 years ago. Like everyone had the same conversation about Tony Romo 10 years ago. And it's just like man, I don't know. I feel like the culture is better there. I feel like McCarthy, like you said, he has won a Super Bowl. He knows what he's doing. It should be better. I don't know.
And quite honestly, they lucked into Dak just off of a poor performing season with Tony Romo at the helm. And they should count their lucky stars so much that they lucked into Dak.
Yeah.
And I talk to you about this all the time, Tony. Like, who's the replacement for Dak? Who are you putting there instead? And like, you're not gonna get Caleb Williams or Drake May or any of these top tier talent that's coming out
They got
this
Trey
year.
Lance.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd say at this
Yeah,
point,
I mean, that was a
Dak's-
number 3
Dak's
pick
a
a few
better,
years ago.
but Dak's a better option.
Of course, but you said who's?
I-
Yeah, of course he is. But if Dak goes down, at least
But I'm
that's a
talking about,
capable back.
I'm talking about the people in the media that chirp like, "Oh, Dak's not the answer." So give me the answer, but give me a realistic one. Like, yes, it's all fun and games to sit there on First Take or get up and be like, "Yeah, what if Tom Brady comes back and plays for the Cowboys?" But that's not happening. That's not fucking happening. Like, let's get back to reality of like, who are they honestly replacing Dak with? And the options aren't out there. He is a top tier talent in terms of quarterback right now. And you're like, other than if the Vikings were suddenly going to be like, yes, we're done with Kirk Cousins, like we'll ship him off to the Cowboys, give us Dak and maybe some picks or something. Like, I could see that potentially being an upgrade, but it also could potentially be the exact same thing.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of quarterbacks that are disappointing, what the hell is going on with Green Bay with Jordan Love? Man, I was so mad. I picked the Packers, and it felt like I was like, this is the easiest pick in the world. The Raiders are not a good team. Like, what's going on? What happened, man? Do you guys watch that Monday night game? I was just like,
I didn't.
okay.
Sadly, I did. And Josh McDaniels just
He tried to lose, right?
he falls
McDaniels
ass
tried to lose
backwards
that
into some
game.
of these wins, and it's just
Yes.
maddening that like he's gonna continue to have a job for another season just because of some of these wins. And but that speaks to like some of the good talent that they really do have on the Raiders. They are winning in
Yeah.
spite of their coaching.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Like straight up, Nick, he tried to lose this game. Like he tried to kick a field goal instead of get 1 yard to run the clock out. So they missed the field goal, of course. The Packers get the ball and they're driving down the field. And Jordan Love just throws this horrendous interception off his back foot to try and like score this touchdown.
I did see that play.
It is
Like
just,
Mark
yeah,
Davis
man.
is up in his box, like having like just conniption fits over what McDaniels is doing out on the field. It was wild to see, but he's gonna keep his job for
Yeah.
another season. But no, back to the Packers. Like, yes, great day for us Jordan Love haters. 3 interceptions from him.
He's bad. He's bad, man.
Yeah, like,
And you
but
can't grade him like a rookie because it's his 4th season. Like that's
I mean,
the thing,
technically, it's
like,
his first season.
no,
How much playing
he's
time did he really get?
but
he had
like
a-
still,
like he had a couple
man.
good games though, and that's when Packers fans were like, "Oh shit, like this isn't the guy." Like,
I mean, this is his first
I don't
time,
know.
first season going through all the ups and downs of him being the guy. So you can put him more on like a second. You could give him like a sophomore year, but I wouldn't really say it's his
Okay.
4th year.
Okay,
I'll give
I
it
mean,
to
but
him.
then again,
fair.
going behind Aaron Rodgers, he should have learned a lot of stuff.
He's getting more reps, but like he had some just like he had one interception where it was like, "What are you looking at?" Like just a bold-faced rookie type interception of like, who were you looking at? Nobody was around the defender you just threw it to.
Yeah, like, and I'm just, like, is he not have arm strength? Like this Christian Watson dude is getting open deep. Like they have good wide receivers on the Packers, and I'm just like these are not good passes. They're like not in. They're just I don't know. He's got a lot to learn. He definitely has a lot to
He
figure out.
seems no, like it does seem like he has the arm strength. Like most likely he just doesn't have the receivers that can get separation. But yeah, like they're relying
Yeah,
on, and this might be LaFleur as well, of just a lot of throws down the middle, which like that's just a terrible idea for any rookie or new QB. Um, of course, a lot of just screen passes, stuff like that, check downs, just doesn't look good. So good luck to the Packers.
stupid Raiders.
I honestly, I think that Minnesota can catch up to them.
Maybe. I mean,
We'll see.
Heard it here first.
yeah,
Packers fourth in that division still.
fourth.
Possible.
You're putting behind the Bears.
Oh yeah, yeah, third.
Not ready to go that far yet.
Wow.
Give
Yeah,
you a couple weeks.
basically the NFC North is like the AL Central. That's what it's gonna be like.
That's right, everyone. Cross sport comparisons. That's what you guys are here for. Speaking of cross sport comparisons, what happened to the Bills in London? What happened? Did you wake up and
Told
watch
you.
that, Nick?
I did. I told you that the Jags were staying out there. They acclimated to everything. They played well out there the week before. The Bills, high off their Dolphins win. It was a trap game. Josh Allen returned to his normal self, to turnovers.
Basically, if
Bills?
you can win the time of possession battle against the Bills, you are more than likely going to win that game.
Mm-hmm. Because
Like
against
it,
the Dolphins, they were firing on all cylinders. That did not look like the same offense at all.
and that's what you get out of the Bills. You get like these just weird peaks and valleys. Like there's no consistency to what they're doing. But like, yeah, if you can find a team that can just run the ball against them
Mm-hmm.
and can protect the ball and hold it for over 30 minutes, they're like I said, they're more than likely going to win.
Yeah.
And
Bills got some issues in the secondary. Calvin Ridley was shredding them.
Well,
And
they lost White last week.
yeah,
They lost Milano early in the game in
mhm,
London. They're just depleted on defense.
they are definitely not the same.
I think they were
And
missing a pass rusher, even though they got Von Miller came back, but he was on a limited snap count.
yeah, he's limited and
no,
it didn't matter. Like the Jags had the ball for so long that they were just getting enough opportunities that eventually like Lawrence was going to get something. And
Mm-hmm.
he did. He just had a lot of just downfield connections to Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
Uh
Seemed like
Bills.
every play Ridley was open on and out.
Yeah. But Bills, I've said it, like you can't be successful when your quarterback's your leading rusher.
Yeah.
he's smart, but if you get him out of like if he stops playing that disciplined way in which he's like a distributor of the ball and he starts playing hero ball, you're gonna win every time. And Josh Allen falls back into that mode so often. And it's like as soon as like a one thing bad happens, he's like, all right, screw this game plan. I'm done with this. Don't care that's a 10-yard hitch to Diggs. I'm going into hero mode. Let's tuck and run. Let's make something happen. I don't know. That's just what I see. And I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. This doesn't look
I
sustainable.
just that's why I don't really see the Bills being that like down the road being that big of a threat to the Dolphins.
Yeah, man, that offensive coaching, yeah, man, their run game, like you said, he can't be their leading rusher. They need to
Yeah.
have some type of balance on offense, and they do not have any semblance of it.
No.
Oh my gosh, this is it right here. This is the question we need to answer. Who is the best team in the AFC North?
I don't know because
That's right, everyone.
I thought the Bengals at the beginning of the year before the season started were gonna be. But then we saw what happened with Joe Burrow the first 4 weeks, but then he comes to life last week with 3 touchdowns over 300 yards.
Billings?
I honestly think it might be the Browns.
Even after they got destroyed by the Ravens? Like that Browns defense was supposed to be good. I understand Deshaun Watson didn't play, but he doesn't play defense. They still gave up 28 points to the Ravens.
Yes, this is true, but that defense is, I still think they're good, and I don't see the Ravens having like any just long-term success. I don't see the Steelers having long-term success. Then the Bengals,
Yeah.
eventually, like all those shots to Burrow is going to add up,
Mm-hmm.
and it can't just be the Jamar Chase show.
You know what? I'm going to disagree with you. I think that the Bengals are the best team in this division. Ah, man, I wanted to be right so bad on selling this stock and this guy being the bust, but I think this is like the perfect shitty division for them to stay alive and win at 10-7 or something at the end of the season. And like you said, it's still early and we're trying to write the Bengals off, and they've had those slow starts before. And man, he looked pretty damn healthy in Arizona that, like, I don't know. And in that crappy division, I could see this happening, especially after what I saw with the Ravens this weekend. And I'm just like, you know what, man? Maybe we just got too eager to write them off, or maybe it was just too much, but it's a long season. I could see them from what all the pieces that you need. Maybe Joe Burrow gets a little bit better. Maybe they figure out a little bit more way to manage him. He made some runs in that game. He he scrambled for a couple first downs. So maybe he's, I don't know.
The calf's becoming healthy. He's able to plan
Gonna
off that back foot now.
re-aggravate it. Just watch.
He could. He very well could. He very well could. But man, it's hard in that division. That's probably what I would pick over. I think I would pick them over the Ravens right now from what I've seen.
I don't know, but I think I'd still have to go with the Ravens at this point.
All right.
I don't know why. I don't trust that Bengals team, and still not going to pick the Browns. And the Steelers, they got a good defense, but can we really trust Kenny Pickett? I don't know.
No.
What we really should be saying is, should we be picking against Mike Tomlin?
True, because he's going to go 9-8 at least.
I
Might
know,
squeak
man.
out a few other ones there.
I know.
I think just by
when I was
default,
ready
I'm
to
going
bury
Ravens.
the Steelers, they keep coming back.
Yeah.
They're like inept on offense, though. My gosh, they're bad.
Mike Tomlin honestly should be getting the love that Bill Belichick gets.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's right.
Unless you want a nice little segue to that of just, hey, how's life for Bill Belichick these days?
All right, let's do that segue. Is Belichick on the hot seat? 5
I don't think he's necessarily on the hot seat. I think it's just more it's time for a transition plan, whether that's a different QB, moving Belichick up to like a general manager role.
He already is.
Just retiring. Oh, I mean, just like outright,
strictly general
no,
manager.
You're the GM. Find a new coach for us. But yeah, like they got to be thinking of just something different than what they're doing, because
I don't know if he could serve in that role, because if he didn't have full control of the team, I think that's why he likes being GM, because he's picking his own players that he's putting in positions.
Yeah, but if he can pick his coach as well, and it's almost like how Pat Riley was in the early days for the Miami Heat.
Yeah,
he's kind of the de facto coach there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he coached 10 seasons before he gave it up to Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah,
that didn't work out too well.
But I like the lust, like he's definitely he's losing the luster by the game at this point with how like he's come off of two of his worst games in the history of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're getting beat down by like 35 points, like that's coaching. It's not
Yeah.
just the talent on the field. Part of that is coaching.
So do you think the game's passed him by? And that's what the criticism I've heard is that New England needs to move forward and get an offensive coach and move forward to a new transition, to a new identity, and get an offensive minded guy in there.
But at the same time, who's gonna want to come in there and take over that mess?
Yeah. I mean, they've tried it the last few years, and they haven't been able to. Bill O'Brien was supposed to be able to do that same thing. Last year, they went with the two defensive people. Year before that, what was it, McDaniels?
So
Which was the last time it was kind of
yeah.
competent. They made the playoffs with Mac Jones.
Say you do replace Bill Belichick with like a veteran coach, you're gonna have to pay that veteran coach. And then if you're paying him on top of just letting go Bill Belichick and he doesn't have success, people are gonna be like, why the fuck did you fire Bill Belichick for this guy? Like we could have just kept status quo. So you got to think about that. So the most logical decision is you got to bring in someone young, a newcomer to take over for Bill Belichick. But same thing, if he comes in and it's a disaster the first couple years, people are gonna be like, "What?" Like that's when it's gonna turn, and people are gonna be like, "Why did you get rid of a Hall of Fame coach for this guy?"
No.
So like it's in the best interest of not only Bill Belichick, like just the how his career is going to be perceived, but also the New England Patriots. Like legitimately, how do you transition? You have to start thinking about that now. You didn't do it with Brady, and that's come back to fucking bite you in the ass. You need to do it with Bill Belichick.
I mean, the best thing, if Bill Belichick's worried about that legacy and it being tarnished, I think he should just retire after the season then.
Yeah,
Because he didn't have a very good record before Tom Brady, and he doesn't have a very good record after Tom Brady. So if he wants to prove, or well, not prove, but at least save some, just retire after the year.
And that's the thing is like now you can say with Tomlin, like he's had some kind of sustained success outside of Roethlisberger. Like Andy Reid's had success with basically any QB he's ever touched in his career. And then now Tom Brady's managed to build a narrative outside of the Patriots, outside of Bill Belichick for himself, and has gotten that GOAT title. So like there's a lot riding on it for him, and he has to be thinking about it at this point. And you can tell like he hates Mac Jones. Like that's just my perception that he absolutely hates that guy.
Yep, I'm going to say it. They're screwed, man. They're screwed. We're watching it happen in Green Bay right now. You're just not going to be able to replace it. You're just screwed, man. That's just the football gods aren't going to just give you another legendary quarterback. And like you said, he's just, yeah, man. He should retire. I heard a wild idea of him getting traded to a team so he can keep coaching to get wins and like trade him to like the Bears. And the Bears can get Belichick as their coach. He's still coaching them, getting those wins because he just wants to get to what is Shula's number of 325.
Yeah, he has to be looking at what's going on with Sean Payton and being like, do I want to do that?
Yeah,
that's true, man. That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
Personally, I think wild idea. The Patriots should trade for Kirk Cousins.
Interesting.
Okay. Kirk Cousins has a no trade clause, so he is going to have some say in where this.
You don't think you wouldn't want to pair up with Bill Belichick?
No. God, no. Hell no. Are you kidding me? First of all, Kirk Cousins is going to have the next 2 or 3 weeks without Justin Jefferson, and we're all going to lose that shine off of Kirk Cousins real quick. And that Netflix talk is going to be in the background, and we're going to be like, man, Kirk Cousins doesn't look as good no more. Man, they're really struggling. Maybe they should trade Kirk Cousins. And
I mean, if I were Kirk Cousins, I'd rather stay in Minnesota rather than go to New England because, like Tony was saying, Justin Jefferson, It's a lot prettier than Devontae Parker and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, like what? He's not set up for success there.
I'm just asking questions. Check out quarterback now on Netflix.
All right, what else we got here? Okay, let's talk about. Wow, this is true. Just flaming the Panthers. Chris Billings, of course, would want to play in this Panthers team. Can the Panthers win a game? Let's pull up this schedule here. What do you think, Nick? What do you think? He's like, nah, they're losing to my
I
Dolphins.
legitimately don't know if they can.
I hope they don't win this week. So let's see the rest of their schedule. They got Houston, Indy. Oh, they might be able to beat the Bears. That's gonna be a great Thursday night game.
Yeah, but then following that, it's Dallas, Tennessee, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Atlanta, Green Bay, Jacksonville.
I say they do get a win. I think they can beat the Bears, possibly the Titans or the Bucks. And they got the Bucks twice, so I think they do get a win.
I agree. They get one win. They get
a win or two wins.
Win.
The question was if they could get a win this year.
Yeah. I'm going one. I'll give you guys.
If they're only getting one win, I can tell you they're a lock for the #1 pick.
That's the Bear zone. So
Bears gotta win, and I could see the Bears winning another game.
No, the Panthers traded their pick to the Bears to draft Bryce Young. The Bears have the Panthers pick in this upcoming
So they're going to have the top 2 picks of the draft, possibly?
Yes.
All right, so now I can see why Bill Belichick might want to go to Chicago.
The Bears.
Yeah, give me the number 1 and number 2 picks.
Although you'd have to trade one of those picks to get Bill Belichick.
Exactly.
Dude, Caleb Williams would just be like, nah, I'm staying if he has to go to the Patriots. Like, nah,
that would honestly be like super interesting though, of like Bears get Caleb Williams, Bill Belichick, Patriots get Drake May. Like that would change some things in the league.
Yep. All right. What else we got here? Bijan versus Achane. Tell me about your boy Achane. Tell me about your boy Achane. Tell me about the track star.
I mean, they say he's played 4 games, but it's really this is all based on 3 games because you can't count the 1 carry for 5 yards in garbage time against the Patriots. That was his first NFL action, and since then, all he's done is what? 7 touchdowns. First player in the first 4 games in the Super Bowl era. First player in league history to rush for 100 yards, average 10 yards a carry in 3 straight games. Leads the league in 20-yard rushes, 30-yard rushes, 40-yard rushes, and 50-yard rushes. And only being, 60 yards behind Christian McCaffrey on 61 less carries. Tell me about Bijan.
Your guy's cracked up, man. He's like on speed. I haven't seen shit like this since Chris Johnson, where I'm like, what the hell is happening here? Like those holes, he's passed them before it's just crazy, man.
It really is. Like,
I don't know.
When he literally caught up to Tyreek on Tyreek's long run last week.
The whole goddamn team.
Even on his 76-yard run, it looks like he's jogging. So there may be another gear.
I'm going to tell you something wild. Apparently Riley Moss, faster than both of them.
Your team makes me feel like the rest of the football is stupid. Like, did nobody else think about getting all these fast players before? Like, what the hell is happening? Oh, why?
Tony, somebody did. His name was Chip Kelly.
Shit. The smoothie guy, man. But they said apparently there's like, damn it, man.
That's what he wanted, though. This is what he wanted.
This
Chip
is true.
Kelly, like
This
this
is
is what
true.
he envisioned for the Eagles and
Yeah.
failed miserably in it.
This
This
is
was
true,
his
man.
vision with Carson Wentz at quarterback.
Yeah, man.
Now
Maybe
that
I'm just locked into those old ways. Actually, it was Marcus Mariota. And well, no, he never got Mariota. You're right. You're right. That's like that was in college, and in the NFL he didn't.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just saying, man, maybe I'm just tired of these old ways with like Bijan being like a franchise back that can do all this stuff, but maybe it's just like
I mean, Bijan, he's definitely good because he has those Barry Sanders
ugh.
moves. Like
Yeah,
you guys saw
yeah.
that above
Dude, he
view of
does
him. It's just
every
ridiculous
game
of
he
what he
does,
can
he
do.
jukes guys. I know. Every game he does that stuff. But like you said, like this Achane guy, and you just find the right guy and put him in the scheme.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. It's confusing because I just witnessed Christian McCaffrey just dominate too. So I think I'm like, man, once you get the right player in the right scheme, it totally
Yeah.
maximizes everything. So
And he
man,
was a steal in the third round.
Gary, yeah, agreed. I don't know. So we say this and it's like then we talk about this. Do you think the Colts made a mistake paying Jonathan Taylor all this money? $14 million a year. He's like the third highest paid running back in
Not
football
now,
now.
not
No.
like not now that you have a QB on a rookie contract, you can afford to pay people like
Exactly.
Jonathan Taylor now. Like, yes, it's dumb if, like, say you're the Jets and have
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers as your QB, but no, like it totally makes sense for the Colts. Why?
Yeah, exactly. You have the 4 years plus a fifth year option with Anthony Richardson being a first round pick. So yeah, you can offset those salaries for those first 5 years, like Chris was saying, and I think it makes complete sense for them to pay him. And they had no other choice because I mean, Miami was one of the only real suitors for Jonathan Taylor, and they haven't missed him this year. So I think the only thing for them to do was repair the relationship.
I mean, I hear you, but to push back, I feel like we're still back in this Achane Bijan argument where the Colts are treating him like Bijan and spending all these resources on him. And wouldn't it be better to surround a rookie quarterback with all these other pieces that 14 million could get you and take a risk on a third round running back and hope it turns out like an Achane or even like, I don't know, any of these other running backs like every year that come out? Like, is it the right allocation of resources even with a rookie quarterback? Is that like winning moves?
I mean, Jonathan Taylor was also one of those. He didn't go in the first round. He didn't go to the mid second. So he's one of those steals also. So he actually earned this payday.
I agree. Agree. He's a
I
great
mean, this
player. He's a
gives
good
you
running
this gives
back.
some of those lower round guys more incentive that they might actually get paid and they might not be just used up and thrown away.
It's just a surprise that the Colts just finally changed their mind to pay him. Right? I'm just like, why make all this show of it in the summer and then like 5 games into the season, like, okay, you were right. Here you go. Here's your money.
I think it was more because they had some success without him. And then it was like, okay, like, yes, we can allocate these funds to running back. I think that was
Mhm.
more the thinking is like, all right, we have a pretty good team. Like, yes, like let's incorporate Jonathan Taylor into this. Whereas
Yeah.
if they would have had a bad team, I think they would have been like, no, like we need to start, yeah, like looking for younger options.
All right.
But
Fair
when you
enough.
have a QB performing pretty well, excuse
Mhm.
me, on a rookie contract, like yeah, like that's kind of like the whole point of these like rookie QB contracts is you can maximize some of these other positions and it's not a detriment to the team.
Yeah.
Okay, so this brings me to the crux of this decision and this real conversation because this is usually what teams go ahead and get into trouble with, and this is what we're crucifying the Giants for at 0-5. Do you think if they decided in the summer that they wouldn't pay Daniel Jones and they were going to let him go out there or they're going to franchise tag Daniel Jones and they paid Saquon instead, that at this point right now they would still be 0-5? Or do you think anything would have changed without that with that team and that strategy? Because one of those dudes is probably going to end up losing their jobs. like the either Dable or the GM. Like, not like, to be honest, one of those dudes would probably lose one of their jobs for paying Daniel Jones, because it's not like there's going to be some rosy outlook or things are ever going to improve for that team this season, at least, and probably not next season. I mean, they're definitely behind the 8 ball.
From the rumors I've heard, like Daniel Jones isn't really Dable's guy. It sounds like more of this was okay, like you went out, you won a playoff game for us. Like, me as the owner, I'm gonna reward you for that. Like, oh yeah, we found our guy. Like, let's dish out some money to him and keep him around and whatnot. And I think that's what really happened. Whereas I think somebody more at a talent evaluator level would have said, slow it down.
Fair. Should they have paid Saquon? Or you just think they shouldn't have
But
paid
It doesn't
neither of
really
them?
matter. They're both hurt now.
Yeah, like, but once again, like
Yeah.
the Saquon
Fair.
thing was when you had a rookie contract, like that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cowboys did it with Zeke and Dak of,
Yeah.
okay, we have a good QB performing on a rookie contract. Like, yes, we can allocate these funds to other positions and let's stabilize those positions. And yeah, like I think the Giants thing is gonna make teams second guess that of like, no, we need to wait until next season and get like a little early evaluation. Now, say like Giants are 3-2 right now, probably would have been a better time to give them that deal of like, okay, like here's some actual sustained success. Like, let's give you that deal. And I have a team that's guilty of it as well, of giving a QB that, quite frankly, was a little undeserving of that deal based off of past success. And like, that's sports, you can't always just give them off of past success. It needs to be out of just what's going to be future performance, future ceiling.
Yep. I
And I don't
agree.
think anyone around the league thought Daniel Jones had the ceiling that contract merited.
Yeah. Same. I don't think there was any people that were going to pay him that money besides the Giants. Okay. Let's get to it here. Your guy, Kirk Cousins, and the Vikings. Justin Jefferson's going on IR for 4 weeks. Do the Vikings look to trade Kirk Cousins? What's this Viking schedule look like over the next
They
month?
won't, but
They
they
probably won't.
should.
Where's he? He's not going to go to New York because they're still paying Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to be able to afford Kirk Cousins' salary unless Minnesota decides, "Ooh, we'll just give you him for free." I doubt seeing that happen. Then Jets are already giving up their number 2 pick to, or their second round pick to the Packers. You think New England?
Talk to me about that, Billings. Why New England?
They're
What are you
they're
doing
already
there?
1-4. You think they're gonna
At 1-6
makes
or like 1-7?
you think they're gonna go 13-4 with Kirk Cousins?
And yeah, like it doesn't make sense to do that deal mid-season if the Vikings do indeed do that, which they're not going to. They're gonna ride out the season and like, hey, I'll say like they still could potentially get a wild card. They won't, but they could potentially do it. No, I'm just telling you, like that's probably the mindset of the GM right now. It's like, oh, like somewhat weak division. Like we could still potentially ride this out and get it backdoor into the playoffs, but it won't happen. So a trade mid-season for Kirk Cousins isn't going to happen.
Mm-mm.
I mean, Justin Jefferson might be a different deal of like you could potentially get a first.
Try
Like,
to replicate what they got for Stephon Diggs to get Justin Jefferson and hope the lightning strikes twice.
yeah, like they're not gonna get 2 firsts out of them. I think they could get like a first and a third potentially out of Justin Jefferson.
Dude, Justin Jefferson would go for 2 first-round picks right
Mhm.
now to any team in the league. Any team in the league would give him 2 first-round picks for him, man. Maybe not
know.
Miami, but like maybe not Miami, maybe not Cincinnati. Most of the rest of the league would be like, yeah, first round picks, Justin Jefferson for sure. And like with both of those guys being like,
I think if
not
you're the
possible.
Ravens, you should definitely do that right
Yeah.
now. Yes, like 2 first rounds, Justin Jefferson done. Like this will make Lamar Jackson a fucking MVP again.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, man, keeping Jefferson in purple there, huh? And then
But
what does Kirk Cousins do after that? He's not going to stay in Minnesota if they get
yeah,
rid of Justin Jefferson.
he's done after
Yeah.
this season. I think this is his last season in Minnesota. So who
Yeah, he'll pick up
knows?
somewhere else.
Goes to the Patriots.
Possible.
Jeez.
Is this the
That-
last year of his contract, or is he still under contract for the next couple of years?
It's the
He's
last
still
year
on-
for Kirk
It's
Cousins.
the last year?
It is his
They-
last year? Okay.
Him
I
and
thought he had one
Jefferson
more.
are both on the last years of their deals.
Okay. Damn. Time flies. Yeah, like
God, I swear.
what are the
Patriots pick Kirk
teams that are
Cousins.
legitimately gonna need a QB of like his caliber next year? Patriots, I've already named off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could throw out the Packers.
Possibly, but depending on how Jordan Love does this year, he started off well. He's had a little bit of a rocky start or rocky few games since, but
Yeah.
he's still got time to turn that around. He did in division.
Like maybe the Cardinals, but then like if you're Kirk Cousins, do you really want to go there? No.
Yeah.
Seahawks just paid Geno.
NFL's dumb. He's gonna go to like replace Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee,
You
and
go
it's
to
gonna be
Tampa.
Kirk
got
Cousins as a
receivers.
Titan. I think they like
Tampa's
Baker,
doing
man.
good with Baker.
Yeah, I think they like him, man. I think they're like gonna try and make it work there. We'll see. It seems that way.
Carolina, potentially. Like it seems like Frank Reich is not into his QB at the moment. So yeah, like some pretty maybe maybe back to Washington.
Now that Dan Snyder's gone.
Yeah, like
No, dude.
I could see
no.
that. If Dan Snyder was still there, I'd say there's no way. Why would he want to go back to that
You
crap?
know the Commanders are going to make that coaching splash too. They're going to get someone good next year. I guarantee it, man. They're going to get someone. They're going to overpay for someone.
yeah. So hey, maybe Bill Belichick, Kirk Cousins, and Washington.
Put it out there. He's putting it out there into the universe. Fuck, dude. They would own the Cowboys. I would be so sad. They would beat us. Watching, we had so long to take advantage of this inept
Hey,
franchise.
Next year, the NFL, I'm telling you, it's gonna look weird. There's gonna be some moves this season that.
You're right, man. You're right. All right. We rambled on about this. We got anything else we want to cover here?
Shout out to Dick Butkus, who passed away shortly after we
Okay.
recorded last week. Passed away at 80. Bears linebacker for 9 seasons. One of the original monsters of the Midway, but just all around good dude. Guy that loved the game and just passed that love of the game on to others. And so just got to give him a shout out. He was before my time, but definitely his presence was known to me throughout my whole life watching football. So that just shows you the character that he was, that he was known to us guys that weren't even alive watching him at the time. So Dick Butkus, RIP.
Well said there. Well said. Legendary linebacker. I've always heard about those stories. Monsters of the Midway.
Yep. Greatest football name too.
Yeah, and like just
What
NFL
a football name,
films,
too.
October, that music, Monsters of the Midway. Like we've all seen it back in a time before streaming when you had very limited options of what you could watch. Man, those NFL films were amazing to watch on a early Sunday morning. So yeah,
Man. We're getting old, man. We're getting
moment
old.
of silence for Dick Butkus.
Didn't he do some like TV stuff too?
He did.
Okay. I feel like that's probably where I remember him from more.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's all I got.
All right.
Get us out of here,
Wrap it up.
Tony.
Wrap it up. Thanks for watching the Week 5 recap. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure we're still alive. Thanks for coming back to watch us every week. We'll have winners and losers. We got our Week 5 picks coming up. Go ahead and follow those on all the little follow videos right here.
Hockey season starts tonight.
Thanks for watching the Sports Budz. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.